Heidi ho neighbors, Radio Goji here, and welcome back to Final Fantasy XI. This guy is going all out and killing stuff. Guy or girl, I don't know. It's an MMO, so half the girls are probably guys anyway. So, anyway, when we last left off, we were doing hunting logs. That's fun to do, to gain experience. Because once we have enough experience, we can go on with the main story quest. I probably could have, you know, just cut to me having obtained that experience, but it's not going to take that long to fill out these log entries. So I figured, why not? Let's just go ahead and knock out the entries I was going to knock out while we're here. So what was the other thing that I needed? Was the shrews? Yeah, let's get the shrews over here. Oh, there's a giant cactuar. I think that's a fate that's going on right over there. Can we join the fate? Do we want to join the fate? Oh no, that's a hunt. Okay, so hunts are things that we're not going to be doing in this playthrough. But hunts, basically, you can get like a bunch of bounties on certain monsters, and that looks like a rank B, rank A hunt. That is level 50, and I'm not even gonna go near that because it will use 1,000 needles in my general area, and that is no bueno. Where were the shrews though? So there were shrews around here, weren't there? Because we had to fight shrews out here. Alright, well, you killed the giant cactuar, so that's fine. Let's see. Crossing this bridge will go into higher level territory. Well, Surfing Clouds are only level 5. I'm still going to hold off on those, but yeah, we're going into not shrew house. Oh, we got transpose now because we're level 4. So we can use that to easily swap between Umbral Ice and Astral Fire and not cancel it out by casting another spell. So that's going to be immensely helpful in the early levels. Where are the shrews? They were out here the last time, because we were over here last time when we came out last to kill stuff. And then we walked all the way around this way and down here, and here's where shrews were. Oh, there they are. I think that pugilist that came through here had to kill these for her quests, so they just took a bit to respawn. No big deal. Floopl Houlihan and the quest for shrews. We got animal sinew. Yeah, enemies will also drop items like that. These are mostly used in crafting, which, like I said, we're not going to be doing in this playthrough. But there are a multitude of gathering and crafting classes that can be used to, you know, you can make items and equipment with it, and also use that to make money. It's pretty much like the main way to get rich in this is to make your own stuff. And I do craft, I do dabble in crafting on Captain Floofers, although I only really do, I really only decide to choose one crafting discipline because I don't know, I didn't really want to focus on too much. So Floofers is a culinarian, which means that he makes food. And while he is in his culinarian garb, he is known as Head Chef Floofer. A fun bit of Floofer's lore for you, even though we're not playing as Floofers, but still. But I am planning on getting all of my gathering stuff up because I want to be the most self-sufficient culinarian I can be, and I want to be able to gather as much as I can, and basically only buy, like straight up buy, would I have to? Because there are some items that you can only straight up buy when it comes to crafting, but they aren't many. I mean, well, there's a good amount of them. No, I mean, there are some other crafting classes that I did bring up because there's some stuff from them that I can craft that go into culinary and recipes, but I digress. So, we must rebuild. Well, youngling, have you how are you finding our fine Ul'dah, then? It's alright. Got your bearings about you yet? I still need to tune all the Atherites, but, you know, whatever. If so, mayhap it's time you ventured beyond the city walls. Done that. The bustling streets of Ul'dah are one thing, but the wilds of Thanalan, that's another altogether. I know a bloke you might fancy speaking to, and he you. Name of Papashan. You'll find him over at the Ul'dah dispatch yard. No doubt he'll have some work for you. The dispatch yard's over in central Thanalan. Just head out the door across the hall and you'll see the Gate of Nald staring right back at you. I know, I've been through that. Pass through it and head east. You'll come upon it before long. There's dangers beyond the wall, though, more than I'd care to count. Nothing too terrible, mind you, but feisty enough to attack if you draw near. Don't say nobody cared enough to warn you. You know, considering that that this quest is a level 4 quest, we would know that there are monsters outside the gates because we have fought them to get experience. And I suppose there are maybe some like quests inside the city that can give you experience, but what's the point when I can just do the Thaumaturge quest and get stuff? Abilities, I mean. Well, I also got stuff. I got the shield. I did see a button on the Moogle, though, when I was there, because, like I said, there was a bunch of stuff that I didn't get. There was a button that said, like, request that to resend you stuff. And I think I might have to click that in order to get the stuff that he sent back. I mean, it's stuff that I'm really not too worried about. But I prefer the I don't know. Let's say I prefer the helmet over the circlet. Well, you certainly look the part of adventure, my friend. Might you be the good soul Momodi advised me to expect, I am Papashan, station master of this humble dispatch yard. An empty title, I assure you. I am truly no more of a tired old Lalafell, passing his final years in quiet and solitude. 12 know there have been plenty of both these last 5 years since the calamity struck. The devastation was vast. Yet now true Aldans work together, doing all in our power to rebuild what was laid to ruin. By the sweat of our brows and the love of our home, we have rebuilt Ul'dah to the grandeur and majesty that you see today. The railways which run through this dispatch yard, too, were born of the noble efforts of a great many souls, but there is still much work to be done. The wounds left by the calamity run deep. Isolated areas beyond our lines of supply remain, and there are places yet wanting for relief and restoration. Ul'dah needs the aid of you and your brethren, friend. In fact, never has our need been more dire. Which brings me to the point, I suppose. I do believe I may have some work suited to one of your ability. A spell slinger? Okay. Nothing to see here. It's a level 5 quest. Are you sure I'm cool to take this? Okay. Since you've come all this way, perhaps you can perform an errand for me. Just so happens a number of sentries have been sent to guard the area. A dispatch to the dispatch yard, as it were. They've been a long way from the shade and the feather beds of the city. The hot days and cold nights can play hells on the mind and body out here. It isn't much, but go and give them these twilight pretzels, would you? I find comfort food always helps when I feel like killing myself. Bit dark there, don't you think, bud? Alright, well, the guys are over here. Are they up there? Oh, they're probably up there. Hey, I got pretzel delivery. Apparently, me, a fledgling thaumaturgist and adventurer, was perfectly suited to delivering pretzels. Hey, bud. Halt. Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to put the pretzel on the ground and place your hands above your head. Alright. State your name and business. A Twilight pretzel from Papashan? By the gods, forgive me. You could say this new post has my nerves in a twist. I've said worse. I'm terribly sorry for that. You should be. Yes, well, you may rest assured the dispatch yard is safe so long as I stand watch. Please give Papashan my thanks and tell him I only wished I could repay the favor. Okay, I don't know if it's been made apparent yet. I mean, that was a pun that he did there, but there's plenty more where that came from, and not just from characters. There are lots of many puns and pop culture references in the names of quests and fates and all sorts of stuff. For example, there's a fate somewhere around in Thanalin where you fight a bunch of hammerbeaks. Sledgehammerbeaks, I think. Sledgehammerbeaks. And the name of the fate quest is Big Time, which is a double reference to Peter Gabriel. Because Sledgehammer and Big Time. I feel like I'm the only person ever who's gotten that who I've played the game with. And it, I don't know how that makes me feel. Western front clear. Eastern front clear. Pretzel. For me, from Papashan, a Twilight pretzel. My favorite. How did he know? Can't fight on an empty stomach, now can I? Actually, I can't fight on any stomach. I suppose you could say I have no stomach for fighting. Okay. Well, I can sprint. I at least got that going for me. I probably should be taking advantage of that more. I'm just not used to using it out in the open because I'm used to using mounts. And I got plenty of mounts, I just can't use them until I unlock the chocobo, so that's how that goes. Now, I can't unlock the chocobo until I'm part of a grand company, which happens as part of the story. But again, we'll get to that when we get to that. I got a Lalafell one over here. 12, save me. Scorching days, freezing nights. This post will be the end of me. Pretzel. A Twilight pretzel? Don't mind if I do. Ah, now that's a refreshing goddamn pretzel. I feel reborn. Goddamn pretzel. Okay. It's like the goddamn Batman. I don't know. I'm trying to segue into that. It's not even that late. I can't even... I don't know. Anyway. You've returned, and with a deal fewer pretzels, I see. Tell me, how fare our Sultan's sworn sentries? Do they have anything to report? Anything at all? What? Nothing? Are you sure? Oh dear. Take this for your troubles, Den, and stay a moment. This is more than I would ask of... There's more I would ask of you. Oh, God. I'll be right back. I just, I realized I had a thing I gotta do. We'll come back to Papashan. But, we have reached level 5, and thus that means, we can do the next class quest. And again, I tend to want to do the class quests as quickly as possible. Actually, I can just... Oh, I don't know teleport yet. Oh, okay. I was gonna be like, I'll just teleport to the Aetheryte, and then because I don't want to use my use my return, because Lord knows I'm gonna need it again less than 15 minutes again from now. So I don't want to use my return, but I didn't realize I didn't have teleport unlocked yet, which is kind of odd. I thought that was unlocked from the start, but I guess I was wrong about a lot of things. Mistakes were made. So I've noticed that there are a lot of newer characters. I mean, more than I normally see. But it could be because the new expansion is coming out. So that it's getting people excited to try the game out. That's entirely possible. Alright, Kokobuki, I think was his name. Yep, Kokobuki. Hey, look, I blew off this other guy to learn more stuff here. Ooh, we get options. Okay, so we get a new weapon for clearing this, so we won't be able to use our shield anymore, but that's okay. But we also get a choice of more equipment. I could have a pointy hat. Cool-looking pointy hat. I would probably pick that if I didn't have the friendship circlet already. But, you know. Your burgeoning power strains against the confines of your untried mortal shell. Another trial you must have. From this day forth, your tasked challenges will be shaped by the teachings found within Thaumaturgy, the Yawning Abyss, a tome penned by the renowned thaumaturge Zozo Maya. My brothers, who have not once tasted the bitter draught of defeat, will instruct you on the vital lessons to be gleaned from the 4 extensive chapters that comprise this exemplary work. Much shall you learn about the threats with which a practitioner of our art must contend. The first chapter, The Threat of Intimacy, falls within Koko Baigo's purview. It is only fitting that one so averse to being approached should teach you the wisdom to be uncovered therein. Okay. I'm going to say Koko Baigo, because I'm fairly sure if it was Koko Bigo, then it would be B-I-G-O. But that's just how I'm interpreting it here. Ugh! Ah, yes, Floopl. I've been expecting you. Allow me to read you the pertinent passages in the opening chapter from Zozo Maya's guide. The Threat of Intimacy. Ah, how magnificent the potent power we wield. Roaring flames, piercing ice, and shocking bolts are matched not by fist or sword or spear. But the burly wave waxes fearsome with every closing step. Fists shatter bone, blades slice through flesh, spears punctured soft bellies. You know this threat, and you stand you apart from such men. This part makes me queasy no matter how often I recite it. The lesson, however, should be obvious. Keep your distance from your foes. Not exactly easy to do if you're going one-on-one, but regardless. I think basically what they're telling you is that if you're in a group, stay in the back ranks. Apart from the agony of being hit, or stabbed, or worse, you'll have a devil of a time completing an incantation with an enemy flailing its weapons at your person. That's also true. Thus the wise thaumaturge always strikes from afar, the further the better. Now let's proceed with your trial. Take this dried fish and set it down in the vicinity of the Silver Bazaar. Next, simply draw back to a comfortable distance and wait for a vulture to swoop in to feed. That's when you ambush the nasty creature with a barrage of deadly spells. Once you have slain the scavenger, be sure to retrieve a generous slice of vulture meat for Fafafono. Lalafell names. He doesn't mind us conducting trials so close to his shop so long as he's properly compensated. Yes, Floopl, we pay him in sorcery-blasted bird flesh. Key items, so... Yeah, basically with the key items, while you can select them from your inventory, they do show up, like, kind of on their own tab over here. You can also select them by going over to the little icon that's next to the name in your duty finder. Or duty list. No, duty finder is the thing that you use to look up trials and stuff. But your quest list on the side there will have an icon that you can click or push to use the item right away. So you just gotta navigate over to it. Also, while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and repair my... I know it's not really much. I get really paranoid with that sometimes, but if your equipment breaks, you lose any bonuses that you get from it. And I know that I don't have any bonuses from my equipment. I mean, other than the bonus experience from my my headpiece there, but... It's just some kind of weird arbitrary repair system. I mean, you can repair things yourself, but there's really no point because it's cheap enough to do from the NPC vendors. And I think it costs you items to repair things like that. But yeah, it's just some kind of like arbitrary system that really doesn't need to be there. And a lot of people seem to agree with that. A lot of people are basically like, yeah, this really shouldn't have been in there in the first place. Just kind of there to be there. Now we've got quite the walk ahead of us. Are we even in the right? I don't even think we're in the right. Well, no, we have to go to Western Thanalan. Damn it. Oh, well. Walk we shall. You can see another aetheryte over in the distance there. That's Blackbrush Station. All of the overworld areas, or at least most of the overworld areas, will actually have little settlements like that. And for those of you who are wondering, yes, that is the car from Final Fantasy XV. There's an event going on where you can get that. I don't think Floopl will be getting that, because you have to be at level 50, and you have to have cleared the main A Realm Reborn story, and I don't think we're going to be accomplishing that before the event is done. But Floopers has it, so that's all I really care about for that. Yeah, just taking out these surfeit clouds here because they're on the way, so we can fill out a hunting log entry while we're here. Get us some nice extra experience. Oh, enough in peace. We can swap over to Blizzard. This is basically the standard Black Mage rotation, as they say. At least at the level I'm at. Cast Fire until you run out of MP. Transpose over to Ice mode, then use your Ice spell to keep it up until you have all of your MP back. Then swap back over to Fire. Half the time, though, Transpose won't be back up again when your MP is back. So I just usually like to, keep the Umbral Ice going until I have Transpose available to just swap over. All right, so that's done. The Hammer Beaks won't hurt us, so that's good. Sorry, I'm going to transpose real quick just to get the MP back in between encounters here. Okay, so that Surfeit Cloud is level 7. That's where I was getting those levels from. Just going to have a nice jaunt over to Western Thanalan, because that's where our next objective is here. Sometimes I do like to go the long way to get to places. You know, 90% of the time I'll just be like, okay, I'll just use teleport to go from place to place. But on occasion, I do like to just get into a mount and just take the long way. So one of the things I really like to do, and it's gotten me really acquainted with how the zones connect to each other, is I'll go to one of the... I don't want to name names of areas, because that's major super spoilers at this point. I mean, I'm fairly sure I've spoiled like a million different things so far, but still. There's one expansion area far to the east, one far to the west, and one far to the north. I'll usually start off on as far east... No, as far west of the map as I can go. And basically using nothing but standard zone borders, as well as ferries if I need to, because you'll be taking ferries to get between certain places. Like the place where Limsa Lominsa is actually an archipelago, and you need to take a ferry to get there. But other than that, it's just I may take a little bit of a tour around there, and then I'll head up toward the northern place, and then head to the eastern place from there. And it's just, you know, it's a relaxing, fun, chill thing to do sometimes. And I enjoy doing that. These Rusty Koblins, they're level 6, but I think we can take them. I don't think they link. Let's see how well we do against one at level 5. Whoa. That's something we haven't seen before, I don't think. That's an AoE attack. These guys have telegraphed AoEs. And if you see that red circle or a red cone or something like that, be sure to skedaddle on out of that. That is the bad, as they say. Because if you're in that by the time that cast bar goes off, you will take damage or suffer status effects, all kinds of nasty stuff. For example, I think that shatter thing, I know that does damage, but I think it also paralyzes. And that's one of the major challenges for like higher level black mages, I think, is when the bad comes up. And there are a lot of people that will continue to stand in the bad because they're in the middle of casting or something, and they want to get their, to get their spell off so they can get that little bit of damage in. Oh, we learned Thunder, by the way. Thunder is a damage over time spell. So we can start putting that into our rotation. And I know that I've been kind of zoomed in on the character. This is usually a bit more zoomed in than I care to be. I'll usually zoom out a little bit like that. If I'm in, like, dungeons or something like that, I'll zoom out all the way. But usually if I'm by myself, I'll be zoomed in a little bit more like this. You can also do that. If you just click on the destination, it'll bring up the key items menu for you right away. Just for... Damn it. Picking it from the quest list is useful in certain situations where you have to use an item. Like, there are certain, like, certain leaf quests, which I may talk about later, where you have to weaken an enemy to a certain point and then use an item right away on them. And that's where that can be helpful. But usually if it's like a static destination or something like that, you can just click on it, and then you can... it'll bring up the menu so you can easily get to the thing you need to get to. So now, keeping a distance in this case really isn't a super useful tactic, mainly due to the fact that because we engaged in combat, that guy was going to come right up next to us anyway. That said, we were still able to get some decent hits off on them. I'm actually going to avoid doing this fake because it is level 8, and yeah, they will... And if you're going through a fate area like that, and you are of a decent... Or if you're decent level enough, like, if you still register as not needing to sync up to it, the enemies will attack you, and that can be not very good if they're level 8, and I am a level 6 squishy pants. You're done making out of the use of my testing grounds, are you? Cough up the fee, then. Nice guy. There's nothing so tender as a bit of meat pummeled with a wanton wizardry. Oi, oi. Nice doing business with you, Thaumaturge. Did you say Thaumaturge? Has this mage just completed a guild trial? Ah, Master Alchemist, what brings you out to the bazaar this fine morning? I don't know why I have kind of an old guy voice. The gentleman here just slew himself a plump vulture. You'd be surprised at how many of these scepter-wielding sorcerers get end up sliced to ribbons by beak and talon. And that's not the sort of flesh I got a taste for, you understand. My brothers, not again! What's his deal? Alright. Now this isn't a settlement that has an aetheryte in it, so I can't just tune here. It's not like I'd really have to go back here for too much, I don't think. Regardless, though, I do have to walk all the way back to town, so that's something to look forward to. Oh, man. The Fate area is like this entire path. There's like no way around it. Well, these guys are actually level 6. It's just the Fate itself is level 8. I probably could do that if I want to then, but I'm not going to. In fact, actually, what I'm going to do, because we're almost out of time here, I'm going to go ahead and cut the video, and when we come back, we will be back in Ul'dah. So until then, I've been Rado Goji, and I'll be here next time. Join me, won't you?